Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Tony Boombats here. And I'd like to have a little talk. All right, I want to do a video of the last couple of weeks. I've been using a few different knives. Been doing a lot of, actually more than I normally do. You know, I'm retired, so I'm not using a knife as much as when I worked. I use it every day, but the last few weeks, because of the hurricanes and all that stuff, been using them a lot, and along with some multi-tools, things like that. And I want to do a video. Bob F., one of the subs, our subs, great guy, had a good idea. If I could only have one knife, basically I'm going to make this if I could only have one folder, because there's some fixed blades I would have, and it would depend on the situation, you know, if I was going to survival or whatever. So we're just going to do this if I could only have one folder. So I've been using some of my favorite knives, and usually I'm not a steel snob, but there are some steels that are very good, and if you're going to only have one knife, yeah, you might as well, you know, have a knife with good steel on it, you know, something that you could also sharpen and, you know, etc. And there's a few knives I've used and a few knives I love, and there's a lot of Spydercos in this selection. Spyderco, for me anyway, is an awesome knife. Well, I just want to show you some of the knives that were into consideration. Then I'll show you the one that I chose if I could only have one knife. One of the knives, and it's one of the, let me see, it's one of the oldest ones I have, is a Benchmade Griptilian. This is an awesome knife right here. This is S30, I believe. It's coated, yes, S30V steel. Really good knife, really tough knife. Great company. Benchmade's a very good company. I've never had to use their warranty department, but I hear it's great. But when I got this knife, which was a while back, there wasn't a lot of clips for it. I called up because it had a standard clip, and I asked them, you know, if they had a deep carry clip, how much would it be? But no, don't worry about it. They sent me one. So there's a lot to appreciate there with Benchmade. The only thing is lately they're very, very expensive. And I think they're priced themselves out of everything. But anyway, this would have been a great pick a couple of years ago. It's a rugged knife. It's a tough knife. And it'll pretty much do anything knife. Big blade. But I have a lot of knives that have passed this. So this was one of my choices. I used this for a day. And it reminded me how great it was, how good of a knife it is. And this coating's great. I mean, yeah, you can see some marks, but it cleans up nice, and it's really good. And this 30V is a nice steel. It's a good steel. Some people don't like it anymore. I think it sharpens good, and it's good steel. Anyway, that was one of them on the list. So, another one on the list, and let me look. Every one of these knives are American made, so, you know, also, if I'm going to only have one folder, it's going to be a USA made folder. Now, here's another one that I really like, but it's a little bit small. This is a Zach Brown Spider Monkey, Southern Grind Spider Monkey. And this has S35 VN steel, which is another good steel. Carbon fiber, and it's a really nice carbon fiber. Look at the way they do that. It's contoured. It's a really nice carbon fiber. And it's a nice knife. I always liked carrying this. Again, though, there's other knives that if I was going to have only one knife, that outdid this one. So I'll put this up here too. Let me open these so you can, I don't know if they fit in the screen. I got a few of them. Yeah, let's put that there. Okay, now another knife. And, I guess I would go with this one because, man, I like Emerson knives. The only thing that would put me back against this, not having this for my only folder, is it's a smaller knife, kind of like the Spider Monkey. It's even a little bit smaller, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it's a little bit smaller. It's a nice, like, gentleman's knife, but it's tough as hell, this knife. And I don't know, it's got a nice feel to it. I love Emerson knives. This is a very good knife. But again, and the steel, it's got a good steel, S35VN. But again, if I could only have one folder, I guess this wouldn't be it. Even though I love it, this is a great, like, gentleman's knife. But it's, you know, it's kind of small. And this is, oh, Jesus, this is, I think this is 154. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is 154. Yeah, it's on here someplace, I believe, but it's 154 cm, the steel. Man, I'm blind. And it also has that finish, Thunder Force or whatever they call it, but it's got a nice finish to it. All these knives are nice and centered. But again, and here's another thing about Emerson knives. They keep everything fairly simple, Phillips, flat. This way, you could take care of this knife in the field. And I believe that's why they use the 154, because you could sharpen that on a rock if you needed to. So that's some of the pluses of this knife. It's just, you know, having other knives, I wouldn't use this as my only folder. Oh, let's see. Now, we have S45VN. Here's a Para 3. This is an awesome knife right here. Awesome. I love Spyderco. I love the compression lock. This is an original goat scales, but this is S45VN. I love that steel. I love that steel. It's one of my top 3 steels. You know, I don't have a lot of different steels. I got some of each, not all, but I really like S45. It's really nice steel. And this is the Para 3, so it's not a huge knife, and that's one of the reasons that it would hold me back, not keeping this one as my only folder. Because if I have one folder, I would want it to be fairly good size. I would want the material to be really good material and have good action and be tough as all hell, you know, really tough knife. So that wouldn't be it either. Next, we have probably my third favorite steels, maybe, is MagnaCut steel. And these two knives right here. This is a Hogue Decker OG scales. American Blade Works. Model 1, I think, version 6 right here. I really love this knife. See, these are the only 2 MagnaCut, I believe, MagnaCut knives I have. Now, if I was going to keep one of these knives as my permanent knife, it wouldn't be the Decker, just because it's a little bit on the smaller size. What it has going for it is it's light. It's really light, got nice action. It's MagnaCut, but there's other steels I like better than MagnaCut. I know a lot of people don't agree, but MagnaCut so far hasn't impressed me. And I believe I got, you know, I only have 2 of them, but I believe they're from good companies that, you know, have good heat treats. So this would be out. The Decker. And the American Blade Works, this is a great knife. It seems like it's tough. It's taken a lot of abuse from me. And I've used it a lot, and I love the grind lines he puts in it. Actually, I used to have one with 20 CV, and I actually liked that 20 CV a lot. And the knife was, it wasn't holding, you know, the lock. It was, when you bounced it, the lock was jumping back. And I found that by accident, and I was cutting something, and when I pulled it out, it folded a little, and I sent him the knife, and I guess it was something with the blade, but he upgraded it and gave me a Magna Cut, and actually I kind of liked the 20 CV. But anyway, he's a great guy, and it's a one-man show over there at American Blade Works, and yeah, this is a Magna Cut, great knife, but it wouldn't be my only one. Now, one of these two knives actually were going to be my number one, but they're not. I have another one that beat it out. This is my Manix 2 lightweight Spyderco. This is in Rex 45. This steel is awesome. I seem to love this steel a lot. It's really good. The only thing that stops me, now I have another Manix 2, the regular G10 model. It's much heavier, and it's S30V. And if I was going to have one folder, again, not that I'm a steel snob, but I might as well have what I feel is a better steel and a better knife. And what holds me back on this one is these scales. It's light, which makes it awesome. It's Rex 45, which is awesome. These scales suck. It's got a little crack in it. I don't think they would take a lot of abuse for very long. I'm not sure. I've only had this knife for a few months, but that's my opinion. And that wouldn't make the list. That would be third, though. And second on my list would be my number one steel. This is my Para 2 Crewwear. I love Crewwear. I live in Florida, and I wipe it down every day. I use this knife a lot. I didn't clean it too well. But, man, it holds an edge really good. And it's not even, I don't know, it doesn't seem to be getting any staining or anything on it. And I live in Florida by the coast, you know. Compression lock, you know, you guys know the Para 2. It's a great knife. And a great steel. That is my favorite steel Crewwear so far. And it's my only knife with Crewwear. But, you know, over the years I've heard people say how well Spyderco does with their heat treat. And, you know, I don't have a lot of testers to test all these blades and these steels. And, you know, but just by using them, I agree. I think this Crewwear is awesome. I think they do a good job with all their steel. And, yeah, unfortunately, only because of materials and cost is why I wouldn't keep this as my number one knife. But this would be number two. Now, my number one knife is actually a Grail knife. One of my, actually only... I have a few Grail knives I'd like to have, like to own, and over the last few years, I was only able to save money to get one of them so far. I will get another more, and I'm actually carrying it today. That's my Spartan Horsey folder. It's a big knife. It's all titanium. It's a good looker, and it's S45VN. Like I was saying earlier, I really, really like S45. I like it better than Magna Cut. I don't like it as much as Crewwear. I love Crewwear. But yeah, it's mostly, and, you know, it's hard to, it was almost my PM2 that became my, if I could only have one knife, the knife I would pick. But this is just beautiful. It cost a small fortune for me anyway, you know. I know it's not much for some people, but for me, this was a small fortune. It was over $500. I love the koi. It represents some things I was into years ago. And it's tough as hell. This is one badass knife. It would take a lot to break this knife. It's a good knife, centered. Great people at that company. I've met them. And yeah, Blade Show. And yeah, this right here, my Spartan Horsey folder would be my number one knife. If I could only have one. If I could only have one knife, this would be it. It's a little bit heavy, a little bit big, but it's very rare that I'm dressed up. I do wear light clothes a lot. That's the only thing. But, you know, I could also put it in a sheath if I wanted to. But, yeah, for all those reasons, and mostly it's because this was a grail. You know, I don't know if it is so much better than the Para 2. I mean, the Para 2 is so much lighter. It's a nice knife. It's so much lighter. G10. I love G10. I think it's a tough material. Feels good material. This has some great action to it. Spidey flick it all day. Yeah. And that has a deep pocket clip on it I put on it. And yeah, it was almost my number one folder. But folks, I have to go with my Spartan Horsey folder. This is one hell of a knife. It's a great feeling knife in the hand. It's a strong knife. S45 is an awesome steel. I've sharpened it once, and it really didn't need it. I mean, you know, I was stropping it and stuff, but this thing, I don't know. Everything about it's nice. And, well, so that's about it. Spartan Horsey folder. If I could only have one folder, that would be the one. Anyway, I hope this was of interest. You know, you guys enjoyed it. You know, let me know what your number one folder would be. You know, that'd be pretty cool to know. Well, you know, what your number one folder would be. You know, a lot of it, I guess, has to do with, you know, with what you do for a living, too. I mean, if you go to work in a shirt and tie every day and, you know, you might want something like the Emerson. It's smaller, lighter, nice and sleek. You know, you wouldn't see it in suit pants. You know, who knows? Or even the Spider Monkey. That's even lighter than that one. It's another nice knife you could carry. So, you know, I guess that has a lot to do with things. I'm retired. Most of the stuff I do is either you know, fishing, outdoors, in the yard. So that's my choice. Thank you, folks. Hope everybody's doing good. Please subscribe to Tony Boom Box, and I love you all. Peace.